Hey everybody, Zack and Joe, your local Pittsburgh realtors, talking to you real quick about all the different labels that you've seen on properties on Zillow, Realtor, the MLS, whatever the website is. You've all seen active, that's pretty self-explanatory. There's under contract, contingent, pending, withdrawn, any other labels?
Back on the market.
Back on the market.
Sold.
Sold. I haven't had anyone ask me what sold means yet, but I'm sure that question it'll be someday. But so this video is just going to explain real quick what those labels mean, basically, and it's really just a different label for each step of the process. As soon as it goes active, it's listed as active or live, depending on the websites. As soon as it hits the market, basically, that's right after we input everything on our end in the MLS. A couple hours later, maybe right away, it'll hit the other websites and say active. After that, it's going to have showings. So then you get offers in. Once an offer is accepted, it goes to contingent, meaning there are some contingencies that need to be satisfied before it goes to the next step, which is
under contract. Now, theoretically, it could also go right to under contract. If somebody bought the house,
with no contingencies.
Cash deal, no inspections, it's rare, but it does happen. The other thing I was going to build on what Zach said was when it's active and it hits the market, that may or may not mean it could still have an offer on it. Like somebody puts the house on the market on a Friday, they have an open house on Sunday, it still shows it's active, but they may have 2 or 3 offers already that they're considering. So it's not a guarantee that it's still wide open. If anytime you're out looking at houses with your agent, you see something that's active, if you're interested, you want to make sure your agent contacts that listing agent right away and tells them you're interested in, and finds out if there's any current offers on the house, or if there are, how many. Contingent, like Zach said, means that it's awaiting them to have a mortgage contingency accepted, a home inspection done and agreed upon. Other contingencies might be if it's a condo or a homeowners association, they have to show you the condo docs or homeowner rules, and you have some time to review those and say, yes, I agree to follow these rules to live in this development.
Yeah, so if it's active, that just means they haven't accepted an offer yet. They may
Correct.
have 10 on the table. So you go active, contingent, or under contract, and then if something happens, buyers get cold feet. We hear that sometimes for any reason. It would then be back on market. Sometimes that scares people.
Yeah.
It's not always a bad thing. It literally is somebody lost their job and now they can't purchase that house.
Right.
It's sometimes uncontrollable. Sometimes negotiations went sour, and it's back on market. So that's what back on market means. It's not always bad, even though some people get afraid of that.
Contingent and under contract are very similar. All they mean is one is the contingencies haven't been met. Once they're met, it switches to under contract. Some of the consumer sites will also just say pending, and that is kind of a catch-all for both contingent and under contract. It just means that there's an offer that's been accepted and it's partway through the process.
It's more generic of a term, but
Correct.
it just means it's got an offer accepted and it hasn't officially been sold yet, somewhere in between there.
Yeah. Another one that you may see not as often as those others that we've discussed is withdrawn. I typically see this if a house has some kind of problem. Let's say it's on the market and somebody runs their car up the front lawn and wrecks into the fence, and they have to get it repaired, and they don't want to show the house because it doesn't look very nice under those circumstances. And then once the repairs are done, they put it back on the market. The other one that happens often is sometimes people withdraw it at Christmas time or over holidays because they don't want to have showings during that time, and then they'll enter it back into the it's not out of the multi-list, it's just withdrawn, and then they start it back up again right away. So hopefully that brings a little clarity to some of these terms. We use them all the time as people who don't buy houses every day. They can probably be somewhat confusing and sound like they all mean the same thing. One last thing to add is that if it is contingent, sometimes sellers will say, I'm accepting backup offers. So it's not totally out of the realm of possibility that if something's contingent, you could still make an offer. It's just the chances are significantly less that that offer would be accepted.
Yeah. Until it says sold, though, there's a
Correct.
chance.